Hi, welcome to the StopWatch for HubSpot app usage demo video. I'm Zach from Thread Integrations, creators of StopWatch for HubSpot. In this video, I'd like to take you through a whirlwind tour of StopWatch for HubSpot, how to install the app, how to use the app card to track time manually against HubSpot CRM records, and how to use our custom workflow actions to automate some of your time tracking use cases. So let's dive on in and install the app. You can do this either via the app marketplace listing in HubSpot or via the StopWatch for HubSpot app homepage. So let's go ahead and install the app. Choose the account you want to install the app within. Review and accept the permissions. And that's the app successfully installed. So now that we've successfully installed StopWatch for HubSpot within our HubSpot account, we need to consider our subscription options. Assuming you just want to try StopWatch for HubSpot out for free, at least initially, you'll need to nominate your users. Now, these nominated users can access the StopWatch app card to manually track time against HubSpot CRM records. So to nominate your users, navigate to the StopWatch for HubSpot homepage. There's a button at the top left, Nominate Users. Click through to that. Input your own email address. Now, this needs to be the email address that you access HubSpot with. You need to input your HubSpot portal ID. You can find this within any URL from within your HubSpot portal or HubSpot account. It's usually the first number left to right in the URL. So I'm going to go ahead and copy that, paste it in there. Now I need to submit the email addresses of my nominated users. Now, again, this has to be the email address that those users access HubSpot with. So the email address that's associated to their HubSpot account. You can nominate a maximum of 3 users. Submit the form. So now that we've nominated our users, we can go ahead and navigate back to our HubSpot account, where we'll need to manually add the StopWatch app card to the relevant CRM record views. So to do this, we can navigate to the Connected Apps page, click through to StopWatch, click on the App Cards tab, choose the relevant object type. You'll need to do this once per object type that you'd like to track time against. So for example, let's go ahead and edit the company default view. Likewise, if you've got multiple views, you'll need to add the StopWatch app card to all relevant views. So let's go ahead and edit the default company view. On the right-hand sidebar, click Add Cards. Now you should see the StopWatch app card available here. We want to enable that. Drag it to wherever you'd like in the right-hand sidebar. Save that view. Now, if we navigate to a company record, we should see that StopWatch app card in the right-hand sidebar. And there it is, the StopWatch app card. Okay, so now that we have the StopWatch app card on the relevant CRM views, let's go ahead and start tracking some time. So for example, if I want to track some time against this company record, I enable the timer. I can see that that started successfully. I get a snapshot view of how much time has been tracked so far in this time tracking session. I get an overview of all the time that I've already tracked previously. I have the option to quick add a session. So for example, if I forgot to track some time yesterday, I can do that manually via a quick add session. Note that in order to use this feature, the timer has to be off. So let's go ahead and turn that timer off. It's successfully stopped. We've tracked some time. So for example, if I want to log some time from yesterday that I spent on this record, so just say I spent 2.5 hours on this record yesterday at 10:30, and then I'll submit that. So that successfully logged some time that I spent on the record yesterday. We also have access to an app usage guide here directly within HubSpot. So you can learn more about how to use the app and all of the intricacies, all of the settings here within the guide. You can close the guide. There are multiple buttons throughout the guide, so you can easily just close that view. You can raise a support request directly from here as well. So if you're having trouble with anything as you use the app, then you can go ahead and just submit a support request, and I'll be in touch with you soon after. We've also got a view of the settings that are currently configured for this HubSpot user, and we'll go into a bit more detail on the settings that you have available later in the video. Okay, so now that we've tracked some time against a company record, let's go and have a look at what that looks like on the time log record. So time logs are a custom object that the app creates, and that's where all of your time tracking data is stored. In order to see the time log that's just been created, we need to refresh the page. Now we can see this time log. Let's go ahead and click through to that time log. Okay, so here's the time log record view. On the left-hand side, we can see a number of different properties that contain information about the time that has been tracked against this, the relevant CRM record. In the activity timeline, we can see individual time log session details, so we can drill down and get a sense for all of the different time tracking sessions that have occurred against this CRM record. So we can see when it was, when the timer was started, when it was stopped, how much time has been tracked. So that's basically it for time logs and using the StopWatch app card. Now let's move on to automation and using StopWatch's custom workflow actions, start timer and stop timer. So to do this, I'd like to take you through an example use case that I've prepared earlier. Now let's consider we are interested in tracking the amount of time that a deal spends in a given deal stage, qualified to buy, for example, and we're only interested in including office hours within that time being tracked. So to do this, we would use HubSpot workflows, a deal-based workflow where the enrollment trigger is deal stage is qualified to buy. You want to make sure that you enable re-enrollment to cover cases where a deal is moved out of the stage and back in, if that's relevant to you. So once the deal has been enrolled, we start the stopwatch timer. We need to set this workflow managed time log to true. This effectively just means that the time being tracked does not belong to an individual HubSpot user. It belongs to the workflow or to this automation use case. And we give that a descriptive tag. And you want to copy that because you'll need that for later when we stop the timer. So now the timer has been started, we set a delay. So basically this delay is just waiting for that deal stage to change from qualified to buy to something else. The maximum delay at the moment is 5 years. So that'll just be sitting there waiting for the deal stage to change. If the deal stage changes, we want to stop the timer. And the configuration of the stop timer action is important to note as well. So again, it's a workflow managed time log. We need to set the workflow managed tag to exactly the same as was input in the start timer action. And because we're only interested in including office hours in the time that we're tracking,
we set exclude out of office hours to true. Because we've set this to true, we now have to specify what our office hours are. So for example, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. And if we need to specify a specific time zone, then we set this to true and then choose the relevant time zone. If that's set to false, then it just uses the default time zone that is associated with your HubSpot account. So let's go ahead and save that. So now that we've configured this workflow, let's go ahead and move the deal from appointment scheduled to qualified to buy. Now that the deal is in the qualified to buy stage, that should enroll this deal within the workflow that we've configured. So we can see already that the deal has been enrolled and it's sitting here in the start timer action. The great majority of requests are processed within 5 minutes. So we'll just give that a little bit of time to be picked up and processed by the app. So now we can see that the deal has moved from the start timer action down into the delay. Effectively now this is just waiting for the deal stage to be updated to something else other than qualified to buy. So let's go ahead and move this deal into the presentation scheduled stage. Now we can see the deal has moved from the delay stage down into the branch. The event criteria has been met because the stage is not qualified to buy anymore. And we can see that the deal is there waiting in the stop timer action. Again, the great majority of requests will be processed within 5 minutes. If you need that to occur faster than every 5 minutes, then get in touch and I can share the options that are available to you on speeding that up. So now we can see that the deal has moved out of the stop timer and this workflow is finished. So the time has been tracked. We'll go ahead and navigate to the deal record. Now we can see that the time log has been created here and associated to the deal. We'll click through and have a look at that. And there's the time log session details, so we can see when the timer was started, when it was ended, how much time's been tracked. Now, nothing's been tracked in this case because it has fallen outside of office hours that we specified in the workflow. So now we've looked at how to track time using the StopWatch app card and the custom workflow actions. Let's have a look at HubSpot reporting and how we can use these time logs in our HubSpot reports. So let's go ahead and create a report. A custom report. We'll choose our own data sources. Let's start with companies, for example, as the primary data source and time logs as the secondary data source. If I just want to get a view of how much time has been tracked per company, for example, so I might search for company name, put that on the x-axis, and then total tracked time, minutes on the y-axis. And I can see how much time has been tracked against my HubSpot companies. Now you'll see most of them are blank. That's because we chose companies as the primary object type. If you only want to include companies that have time tracked against them, you would use time logs as your primary data source and companies as your secondary data source. So now I want to touch on app settings that are available to StopWatch for HubSpot users. So if you go to the connected app section in HubSpot, you can click through to StopWatch and you'll have a list of all of the settings that are available for the StopWatch app. So here are the settings at the moment. Auto start timer we've touched on before. That relates to when you load a CRM record and you've got the app card there, the timer will automatically start. It's worth noting that there are a number of criteria that need to be true in order for that feature to work, and that's outlined in the usage guide. We can split time logs by week and by month to help us with our reporting needs, so we can get an understanding of how much time is being tracked over time. We've got an option to have a billable time checkbox available on the app card if you need to segment your track time into billable and non-billable time. And you can also round up your time tracking to the nearest 15-minute, 30-minute, or hour interval. Now, finally, if the time comes where you need to upgrade to a paid subscription, you can do that via our app homepage. Reasons to upgrade would be for getting access to the app card for multiple users, more than 3, or to use the custom workflow actions. So you simply go to the homepage, find the subscription options section, choose your preferred currency, and then click through to our subscription creation page. That brings us to the end of our whirlwind tour of StopWatch for HubSpot. I hope you enjoy using the app.